Most of the modern programming language has got a concept of dictionaries in which you can have your own indexing values and can have values. And Swift has got no exception out here. Swift is also a modern programming language and being influenced by a lot of languages. Although it is called as a C-based languages, but still you can find a variety of features if you are coming from many languages out there. So how does the dictionary works? Now in the Swift simple arrays, we got one of the problem that whenever we define a simple array, what happens is we are not able to have our own indexing system. We are simply having 0, 1, 2, 3 and all of that, and it just remains just like that. But for example, in just a scenario you want to define your own indexing system as well as value system, then dictionaries would be a rather better choice than simple arrays. And how does the dictionary works? You can see we have got a key and value, and they always exist in a pair separated by colon, not the semicolon, and this is not an optional, so keep an eye for that. And how do we do that? So simply we have got a conversion type 1, 2 and 3 just to make sure that you understand the deep concept of the dictionary. Like for example, in the conversion type 1, you can see this one is a string. Now don't be fooled around. If the number is 1, that doesn't mean it's a 1 or integer. It is being surrounded by the double quotes, that is means that it is a string. Now separated by colon is got its value, and it always and always works like that. First it comes the key and then after that it comes the value, and separated by comma you can put anything. But be consistent about that. Like for example, once you decided that all of my keys are going to be string, that be stuck on that, don't change that. And once you decide that all of my values are also going to be string, stuck on that and don't change it later on. Like for example, in case I decide that later on I would like to have this one as simple integer and this all of rest of the values are going to be string, now this is not at all accepted in the Swift. You should be consistent with that. Let me get back onto that. But you are free to decide at the go that whatever you want to do. Like for example, in the conversion 2, I decided that all of my keys are going to be as integers and all of my values are going to be string. So I will be just consistent with that, and you are perfectly allowed to do so. And it is not a strict that keys cannot be string or keys cannot be string simple integers. You can have anything, but stay consistent with that. And you can see this is example is being presented in the conversion type 1, 2 and 3. We have revolved around with pretty much anything and everything as well. So let's say for example, later on you decided that just like the arrays that I would not like to initialize my dictionary and I would like to load up the values later on. So yes, you can do that. For example, in the line number 13, we got var later loader, and just like the arrays, you have to define it. For example, we are inferring it as a string and a string. Obviously, it is very self-understood that in the arrays we were having just one value, so we were being defined one values. Here we got two values being separated by the colon, so that is why we are defining that. Now I could have defined it something like a simple integer as well. Now it's up to me what I want to do, but I'm not initializing it, so it doesn't really make a difference right now here. But really, you should be worried about what is about to come. And getting the values is again easy, but notice one thing in the dictionary. In the arrays, everything is being remain whatever you are putting it, like you are putting it them in the alphabetical order, they will always remain there. But dictionary is not that case, because every value is being accessed by the key only. So it doesn't matter how it plays in how the dictionary is being placed inside the memory. It will definitely be jumbled upon. But the good thing is, we always access that with the keys. For example, in the type 1, we can see that we are having a 3. So 3 is this one out here and it spells like 3. So it will give us the 3. It doesn't really matter how it stores. And if I click on that, notice we got all of the values out here and we can have that. Now here is a quick tip to all of you. Now in case you are missing that, just simply right click on this area and you can have the latest values, or you can have a couple of options are here. Not right now, but I'll show you just in a moment what are the other options. So if you are not able to see what is out here exactly on my screen, and just let me clear it up at the moment only. Like for example, in the looping, if I open that up, you can see only one value is there. So you can right click and click on the value history and can get all the values. Now a lot of you might be searching in the last movie, hey, where is my values and how this playboard is going crazy out here. So it's not. Coming back on to the topic, so let's try to get the value. So obviously you always and always have to mention the keys to get the values from it. Now changing the existing values is also pretty simple. You just say you define the dictionary as a key, that I want to change the value of the key 1 as 1. So previously it was all lowercase, then I decided that I'll change it to the uppercase, so it does that. Now what about if the value doesn't exist? Now the problem is, if the value doesn't exist, it will create a new entry out here. So make sure that you are pretty sure that the value is out here. Now obviously we can see that the value is being updated, and this one is a proof of that. Again, you have got many other options like update value. But notice one thing, I tried to update the value as 2 all caps, but it returns me the smaller value. Now here is a small hinge out here, and it says that whatever the value you're going to update, I'll return you the previous value before updating it. And that's why it is creating a problem. But on the other hand, if I try to have a conversion type 2 out here, and just notice that 2 is being updated, so nothing to be worried about, but make sure that you understand that the previous value is always going to be returned out here. Again, if you want to have multiple options like what are being available or not, like one is remove all, which removes the entire key value pairs in the dictionary out here. Now what about the deleting of the values? Like for example, I want to delete a particular value, then what you need to do is set the key as nil. Like for example, we have got 1 in the type 3, which is out here. And this is the one. I want to delete the value. I can simply say nil. Now nil is not a space or anything. It's nil means just nothing. It is not a space or anything like that, or 0. It is just a nil. So make sure that you keep an eye for that also. Now there are dozens of options to remove the values. Like there is one remove all, which removes all the values. And just like the arrays, we have got a particular remove of the indexing values as well. So it says remove at particular index, or remove value for key, or it just reverse the values, or remove all, and all of these values or the functionality is being available out here. So pretty interesting stuff for the simple dictionary. Now let's also learn how we can loop through the dictionaries. Now the reason why I'm saying again and again looping for every element, because this is the base thing. Whenever you are going to define a complex element, definitely you want to loop through it. So for example, we have got a 4 digits, comma words in conversion type 1, and we are looping it through. Now the whole concept here is a little bit different as this one. Otherwise it remains the same. Now this is a concept of tuples, and we'll talk about that in the next movie. But right now you can simply say that how many elements you want to loop through into a particular element, you can name them. For example, I have got 2 elements here in the conversion type 1. The one is digits and second is words. Now you can name it anything, it all depends on you. It's a variable being created on the go. So make sure that you keep an eye for making it exactly the same when you use that. Apart from that, feel free to have any interesting keywords out here. Like you can have 1 and 2, and you can replace that with 1 and 2 as well, or A or B or I or J, or whatever feels interesting to you. So this is all about the dictionary that we have got in the Swift.